it up. Now it's on
What's the matter?
YouTube. Now it's on YouTube.
Now it's on
It
YouTube.
was only on record.
Oh, okay. That's too bad. Well, we're all okay. Anyway, everybody can watch it after the fact, I suppose.
Well,
So
I mean, it's on right now. I mean, right now I got the eyeball and there's 0 people.
There's 0 people. Oh my God. This is what happens when so I take 2 days off of work last week, by the way. And I come back and there's been this huge senior management shakeup where somebody left. I don't know what the hell happened. And I'm like, hey, did you hear about so-and-so's gone? I'm like, what? And then there was like a huge meeting with the entire organization all in one room. And I'm like, so are we all going to be fired? And we weren't all fired. So there's
You didn't
good
say
news.
that.
I didn't say that, but I was thinking that, right? So
But
you got to think about this kind of stuff. I mean, I've literally had that shit happen. So who's Bobby?
I don't know. It was a pre-made stream that I wanted to speak to Robert Carroll, so I just wrote Bobby. And then that's why we weren't on.
Does he go by Bobby, really?
Well, I call him Bobby.
I'm just saying.
You know, I guess we're close. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. If you're that familiar with him, that's fine.
Well,
that's fine.
And you know what? The guy's a killer, man. The guy's a killer.
Guy.
Super intelligent. I mean, you know what? Anybody's super intelligent next to me. But anyways, super intelligent. I learned so much from him, as I learned from you there, Artie.
I try to be as confusing as possible.
But no, sometimes like you say shit, you go quickly. And I'm like, hey, what's that? Because you know what? I don't read, and that's a problem. You have to read. If you want to expand your vocabulary, you gotta read, man.
You know what? You got the perfect hobby for reading. If you think about it, you sit there, smoke your pipe, and read.
I'm ADD. I can't read.
It's very sure. Like you sit there and relax and smoke your pipe, though, right?
Yeah.
Make it about that, not about the reading.
Yeah. Hey, imparato, come stai?
Welcome, everybody, to the show. Slight technical difficulties with the opening. Everything's going to be fine. So it's all good.
Yeah, there he is. Kilroy, what? You know, Kilroy, you're a funny guy, regardless of your haircut and your tie and your whatever job you got, you know, whatever.
Whatever it is you people do.
Whatever you do, you know.
So we did talk last night on my live stream show about Origins and the whole experience. And tonight I actually want to talk about a tangentially related topic, which is how do we get so Origins and Gen Con have, let's say, not featured wargaming particularly prominently for a long time. Interestingly, last time I was at Gen Con, there was actually wargaming happening there, but that was like 25 years ago. So, you know, who the hell knows what it's like now? It was still in Milwaukee at the time. So we got the 2 big summer conventions, Origins in June and Gen Con in July or August or whenever the hell Gen Con happens now, both located in the Midwest. And wargaming, I don't know about Gen Con, but, you know, we've been fighting tooth and nail for years to give wargaming a prominent presence on the show floor at Origins. I think to significant success. But what is it going to take to get a more promising presence at those big summer conventions? And I think for thank you, Kilroy, Bob. I think for Origins is the more accessible show for people because it's smaller convention, but it's still big. And it's a lot easier for vendors to get in there, as opposed to, nobody can find anything at Gen Con. It's a circus. So I'm not talking about WBC. I already know that there's plenty of wargaming at WBC and Concept World Expo, and there's plenty of wargaming at Buckeye Game Fest, right? So there are wargaming specific events at Winter Offensive and Compass Expo and GMT's Weekend at the Warehouse and all that stuff. I keep asking Dan this, and apparently the footage was destroyed in a freak electrical fire.
No, I got the bloody footage.
Okay.
Look, man.
I'm trying to give you an out here. I'm trying to tell people that a freak accident occurred and wiped out the footage. There used to be back in the day.
I don't have to do it anymore. Then
I used to be in this gaming club back in the 90s, and there was, I was not like involved in club leadership, but as usual, they had like a president, a vice president, a secretary, and a treasurer and all that stuff. So they had one incident where, and this was not like a giant bankroll. I mean, there's probably like $75 in this box. So the treasurer comes in and reports that that there's been a tragic loss. There was a freak closet electrical fire. Only the money was destroyed. Freak closet electrical fire. So the other club officers were unconvinced. So I've been doing this a long time. I got stories. So same dude spent January 31st or December 31st, 1999 in a bunker with some crazy people. Yes. Well, that got canceled though I expect that to come back. I don't know about this year. Harold of Haroldson and the fine gentleman from the Players Aid didn't try. They did set up a war game area.
They canceled the Players Aid
this year. Well, I don't know that they canceled them going. I expect them to go because it's like right downtown. But I don't know that they're like whatever they were calling that event is happening this year because Gen Con's got to be goofy again, right? So. But yeah, I expect that kind of thing to come back. So I mean, and that's a start, right? That's a lot of interest got drummed up by Harold and the Players Aid and all that stuff. Yeah. So we're trying to drum up interest in wargaming at Origins, right? To show people that hey, you actually can show up with a big war game at Origins. We just got to find a place for you, and that's kind of the next challenge is where is that place? Is it on the big show floor with all the noise and stuff? People our fellow who owns the game, which is a game that is, let's say, expensive to replace, was concerned that somebody would walk off with it. And I was not particularly concerned. I doubt anybody that knows what the hell Second Front is would do that. But you never know. These things do happen, right? I mean, after all, when they had the auction robbery at Origins years ago, they took the laptops and presumably whatever cash boxes were left laying around. They didn't take any games. So professional thieves are after the actual money.
Yeah.
Not in, I got to put this thing together, figure out if it's punched or unpunched or whatever, and put it up on eBay, right?
Artie, you were talking about heavy war games at Gen Con. You know what?
I don't know how long it's been since there's been heavy war games at Gen Con.
But you know what? That's cool that there should be heavy games. Obviously, there should be lighter war games, but there should be a heavy game. There should be at least one heavy game.
Here's the thing. And yes, I agree completely with what you've just said. Here's the thing, and I understand that the wargaming has largely migrated onto wargaming specific events, right? Including the big monster games. And then that's all fine, and there's reasons for that are valid reasons. But not one single player has ever been converted to a wargamer or a monster wargamer at Consim World Expo. If they're there, they're already in that population.
That's right. That's right. There's no cheerleaders there.
So the big conventions give us the ability to show the hobby off to people who could be war gamers but aren't yet.
Yes.
And that's why it's important to maintain that presence. And it's our fault that it has lessened, right?
I actually have some of that fault on my shoulders because I should be at WBC. I should be
at WBC, but I'm probably not going to make WBC this year either, considering everything that's going on.
God, if I was going to be there and you weren't going to be there already, I was going to be really pissed.
Well, neither of us are going, so it's okay. Next year, we'll think about next year. I've got a lot going on over here, and I spent a lot of money, so there's that too. I also have a package from the fine folks at Noble Knight coming.
Hey, Anthony, I want to know, what did that cost you? What did that cost you? I want to know.
Well, in the meantime,
I want to know. Hey, Magnus, what's up?
From sunny Sweden. Nice to see you. Thanks for stopping by.
What did they have in Sweden that I just saw something on BBC, the strange things Swedish people do.
Like their food?
Yeah.
I mean, they do have that lutefisk. I'm just saying.
With free shipping, eh? Son of a beast.
If you buy more than, I think it's $100 or $150 or $125 or something like that, Noble Knight ships for free.
You know what? Free
So.
shipping is very attractive.
That's true.
No matter where you buy
especially
your
right
stuff.
now. Yeah, I mean, it cost me $30 to $35 to ship U.S. Postal Service to something to somebody in Oregon. I mean, it was admittedly a heavy game, but still, that was crazy.
One of my friends is sending 2 boxes of war games to me from Ithaca, New York, to Montreal, which is 5 hours away. Cost me $110.
See, that's excessive. That person should be looking for alternate methods of shipping.
He didn't try.
I ship something to Canada through UPS via pirate ship, and it was surprising. I mean, it was expensive, but it wasn't like, holy cow, it's more than the game's worth expensive. It was like $35 or something like that, which is not as bad as 75.
Well, look, 1 box was 46, 1 box was 56.
So. That's true. IKEA, they did the Swedish meatballs.
Now,
IKEA does
ice hockey. Who are you talking to over here? Oh, who are you talking to?
Let's all fight. I'll tell you, I'm not that crazy about the Swedish meatballs, but IKEA's at the cafeteria up there. It's like the only store that has a cafeteria around here.
Magnets, Swedish meatballs. It ain't happening.
That's
okay,
true. I don't know if you
want
to brag
the Swedish meatballs. Drop it. It's over. It's not a thing.
They've got some kind of caramel pie or cake or something like that up there in the IKEA cafeteria that is awesome.
Don't they have gefilte fish?
I don't think they have that in the IKEA cafeteria. No, they don't want to scare the Americans away with their boiled food.
Meatballs.
And their
mayonnaise. Stop trying to be Italian. Stop trying to be Italian.
No, they're not Italian. You put lingonberry jam on them.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's a little weird. I got to tell you. They had the vegan meatballs that I had last time I was at IKEA, actually, and they were surprisingly good.
Yeah, let me say, please, you just said something. Vegan
meatballs, right?
No problem. I got no problem with vegan people. Why should I? I don't care. But why do you want to have a vegan hot dog? Why do you want to pretend it's meat?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
as usual. Yeah, why not eat food that was designed to be vegan food or vegetarian or whatever, rather than fake food? By the way,
let's have a vegan hot dog.
Speaking of fake food, the fake Wagyu hamburger at Arby's is an above average fast food hamburger.
I mean, seriously.
This is probably okay.
What's he saying here, Artie?
I have no idea what. Maybe that is Swedish. I don't know what any of those words mean. Not together anyway. So what I'm saying here is, if we want war games to be present at these big conventions, then we have to go to these conventions and do war games. We meaning the players, the people that go to these things, and the publishers, right? Publishers got to show up. I don't know about anybody. So Enterprise Games comes to Origins, and Rep is like the official rep of GMT. He got cleaned out. Man, he must have done great. And I know he wasn't feeling well. He's got issues. Don from Enterprise Games had some issues, and he wasn't feeling well. But they got cleaned out, man. They got these upright shelves that were just dead empty by the time I left at the end of Saturday.
And were his prices good, or
his prices? I bought Silver Bayonet from him for $42, which is well under MSRP.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah. And the thing is, look, I can only speak for myself. I come from Montreal, man, okay, or close to Montreal. It costs money. Nobody's gonna sponsor me to go to a place, to go to Origins. Then I gotta pay hotel. Then I gotta eat the shit American food. I'm gonna gain weight.
Well, you might gain weight. The food in Columbus, Ohio. Columbus is not like a great food city like San Francisco or New Orleans or New York or something like that, but it's not bad for the Midwest. There's plenty of very good food within easy walking distance of that convention center. I didn't talk about this last night, but I thought that was Spoo, actually. But we went to some Indian place called Haveli Bistro that I'd never been before. I'm not even sure I'd even heard of it before, and it was awesome. It was fantastic. And it was 6-minute walk from the convention center. So plenty to keep your gullet happy down here. We've got a fabulous old style. It's not old, but it's an old style market where you can go and get food and stuff like that. All kinds of international food. You get Thai food, Vietnamese food, Japanese food. Two different Mediterranean places. There's Polish food. There's Indian food. There's Somali food. There's Nepalese food. Like right behind the block next to the convention center. So whatever you want, donuts, pizza, whatever you want. Fried chicken is up there. Pretty good.
Let me tell you something. At WBC there, if you're going to stick around the resort, which is a beautiful resort, the food, look, this is my opinion. It's my opinion, okay? The food is not fit for a dog.
I have heard mixed reviews on the food at Seven Springs Resort.
It's
some people
horrible.
like it, but I also know a guy who went in the Army and said he loved the food there. So some people just got no taste. What can I say?
Well, no, okay. Look, what I'm used to, I live close to farmland, so I'm used to organic meats, organic that we cook it ourselves. It's incredibly tasty. Just fundamentally, the meat itself is incredibly tasty.
I want my meat pumped full of steroids.
Yeah, that's
so I can become strong. That's what it is. I want.
Yeah, no, you're gonna grow tits. You're gonna have tits.
So yeah, I mean, California is probably the best. People from Texas will argue with this, but people from Texas are wrong. California is probably the best food state as opposed to food city. There's I mean, even Texas barbecue. I was talking to some people that say Texas barbecue sucks. It's not as good as Kansas City barbecue, which is in turn definitely not as good as North Carolina barbecue. So,
well, look, I've been to Corpus Christi, and
we're gonna make Mo mad, but sorry.
And I've had some the best burritos in my life.
Oh, I believe
the best tacos in my life, and the best brisket in my life.
Some of the best barbecue, not the best, but some of the best barbecue I've ever had was a place a block away from Times Square, right in the middle of New York City.
What was it called?
I have no idea. This was like 20 years ago.
No, New York's got some great restaurants.
Oh, great food. The best Caesar, not different place, but the best Caesar salad I've ever had was in New York City. You could,
for sure.
The dressing was redolent of anchovies. It's all about the anchovies.
I love it.
Columbus was going to be named Flavor Town. For some reason, tons of people signed the petition, but for some reason, the state of Ohio and the city of Columbus didn't take it seriously.
Nah, the best thing I had in Columbus, Ohio, in Columbus, because I once went to Columbus because I had a gig, were grits.
Oh, that's at Waffle House?
I don't remember.
I don't like grits, and I don't like Waffle House. So I don't even think
what's the matter with this
their
guy?
waffles are gross. New York City. Well, that stuff's great in New York City.
No,
New York
understand.
City.
I understand he's from California, and
right?
Yes, I'm sure California's got better food, 100%. 100%.
Well, by the state, right? I mean, city-wise, I think New York stands right up to San Francisco.
Look, New York City's got some wicked restaurants,
but like the rest of New York State is kind of a culinary wasteland. So, I mean, you got buffalo wings. They don't even care about in Buffalo anymore. Although they do have the beef on weck, which is fabulous.
Yes, you're going to get great sushi in California because there's a lot of Japanese people, man.
Yeah, we get great seafood here in Columbus, Ohio, 2,000 miles from the nearest body of water, too.
Grits is cornmeal.
It's like a coarse cornmeal porridge. To call it gruel would be accurate.
You know what it is? It's large polenta, if that makes any sense to you.
Yeah, it's gruel. It's terrible. I mean, you can put stuff in it to make it taste good. You know, actually, what works really well on grits? Maple syrup.
You're damn right it does.
Put maple syrup on grits. Although, admittedly, if you got real maple syrup, even bad maple syrup is pretty good. But
are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
Yeah, I know you guys got the maple syrup.
Quebec. You're talking to me?
Yeah, I hear they have maple syrup up there.
Yeah. Yeah.
They put that on their hockey.
I sent it to STUKAJOE. Once I said, hey, Joe, have you ever had maple syrup? He said, the closest I've ever had to he doesn't speak like that, but the closest I've ever had to have maple syrup was Aunt Jemima. And I thought, Jesus Christ, Aunt Jemima? So I sent them a few cans.
That's just high fructose caramel color corn syrup shit. Jeff, I'm not a big fan of grits, okay? But if you put if you got grits in front of you and you got to eat them, put maple syrup on them and they'll make them edible.
Now, hold on a second, Jeff. Have you ever had polenta? Ossobuco and polenta?
I hate polenta. I hate it.
But you don't like
put
grits.
so much
Obviously,
cheese.
you
I
don't
put
like
like
polenta.
equal weight polenta and Parmesan cheese in it, and it still wasn't good.
No, you don't do that.
But then what you do is you put it in the fridge, let it harden up, and then you slice it and fry it in butter and put maple syrup on it, and then it's good. I'm not even kidding. I have absolutely 100% done
I know. Sambuca and polenta. Bobby, you're the best. I never thought about that. You light up the polenta and you eat it. You know, hold on, Bobby. Artie. Polenta is a base, okay? So you like rice as a base.
Right.
So you just put a bit of polenta and you put a nice ossobuco on the Jesus Christ.
I'm happy to eat the ossobuco, and if you cover the polenta in enough gravy, you can make it edible. But that's not the polenta. That's the gravy.
Yeah, that's fine. The tomato sauce with the oil and the fat from the ossobuco.
Mm-hmm.
God.
That's good stuff. Ossobuco's good.
You're damn right.
So, but anyway, we have killed the bottle that we had of Auckentoshan.
Is it peaty? Is that peaty?
Not at all. No, it's a lowland, so there's no peat whatsoever.
So what is it? Sherry casks, port casks?
It looks like sherry casks, or there's a lot of caramel color in it. But it looks like sherry casks. Well, it says American oak, so that means bourbon casks. But it's darker than it should be for American oak, so which means that they put a lot of caramel color in it, which is legal to do in Scotch.
I heard that about Auckentoshan.
This is better than the Auckentoshan 3-wood that I've had in the past, though. So
actually, that's the one I had.
The 3-wood.
I paid $80 for it.
Ugh. Yeah, I wouldn't pay $80 for it. This was about $60. Shrimp and grits, I believe that could be good. Actually, I'll buy that because it's loaded with cheese usually, and it's got like a shrimp sauce on it that makes the whole thing edible.
What are you talking about?
Shrimp and grits.
I would like that very much. But hey, going back to Origins, for me, as I said, it would be very expensive to go down.
Oh, of course,
very expensive.
But you should anyway because it's awesome.
How's that like feasible? You should anyways. Wait, what?
You should. I'll need a roommate for next year.
What, am I going to pull the money out of my ass?
Well, yeah. It's got to get it working. Got to go back on tour, and the heck have a tour come down here actually right at the beginning of June. You'll be all set.
Maybe we should go on tour.
Maybe. John Longshore, if you're looking for a Panzerblitz, I'd check BGG Marketplace. You should be able to. You might have to lurk for a while because they're actually kind of hard to find unpunched. But I would never, under any circumstances, pay $150 for a copy of fucking Panzerblitz. No way.
I think they have it. They have it on.
That is a $20 game tops.
Yeah, but it's
unless it's in the shrink wrap. But it's very rare to see Panzerblitz in the shrink wrap.
Noble Knight's
because people played it
now.
Yeah. The pasta rule for campaign for North Africa. Yeah. So we got a special in second front. We got a special rule for the Dam Busters. They get their own counter. They got their own special rule where they can use their strategic bombing value against facilities bombing of facilities targets that would normally use the tactical bombing value. And the strategic bombing value is really good. Interestingly, there's nothing that says you just use it on the dams. You use it on, whatever you want, airfields or what have you. So speaking of absolutely stupid Chrome rules, this is to say nothing of the Cajuns rule. But all that goofery, we still had a lot of fun with it. So I'm very happy with that. So there we go. Well, yeah, I'll do it next year. I'll have to come down and stand. Well, according to plan, let's hope I'll have to stay in the hotel.
Farts
So
in sleep.
I snore. I'll tell you, I snore. I probably fart in my sleep too, but I fart when I'm awake. So there's no difference.
Oh, by the way,
So
check out. Oh my God, the World War II with Indy Nidell. Check out Indy Nidell. They have a thing on the Dam Busters.
is this on YouTube?
Yeah, you don't know this channel, man?
I guess not.
World War II, like week by week, man.
Okay, yeah, I've seen this.
Yeah. So anyway, the Dam Busters is happening right now.
Okay, that's cool.
Hey, Artie, you have control of the chat?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I do, because you made me an admin, remember? So we don't have to put up with Bob the Brave anymore. Out you go. So it's all working. There you go. Work it out, John and Harry. Nobody really needs a copy of Panzerblitz anymore. So,
well, Harry, are you selling it? Huh?
Depends how much he's offering.
Huh?
Unpunched Panzerblitzes are hard to find.
How much you selling?
And this is true too. If you're missing a tank or two, who cares? It doesn't matter. This is one of the great things about Panzerblitz is you can kind of make your own scenarios up. It's very easy to do that. And people, had 5 copies of Panzerblitz and put them all together and did Kursk on the, platoon level, right? So that is a thing that you can do. So I don't have an opinion on that. However, that is a game that has survived. That is a game system that survived multiple publishers, and it seems to be doing very well for GMT. And if your specific interest is in armor warfare at the tactical level, then I think it is a better choice for you than, say, ASL.
I don't think you could get a better game if your thing is on armored warfare. I don't think so.
At the tactical level. So I believe the counters represent individual tanks, I think.
That's right.
So, but remember, that's an old Yaquinto or
Yaquinto,
I think it was Yaquinto.
Yeah, yes.
So Yaquinto was founded by the guys from Battle Line once Battle Line got sold off to Avalon Hill. I didn't know that. I just found that out.
Wasn't Battle Line an RPG people?
No. No. So, well, sort of. So they were at one point owned by Heritage Miniatures that did have a line of RPGs and a couple of good ones too. But then so this is Steve Peake and S. Craig Taylor that went off and founded Yaquinto. So I did not know that. So great find. So thank you, Mike Anthony. I really appreciate that. So now I don't have to stand up anywhere. I can remain seated and ding, off you go. Have a nice day.
Yeah.
Everybody be nice.
I don't know who this guy was, man. I just saw Artie,
but he was very brave, whoever he was. Very brave individual. giant balls on him, and not at all overcompensating. So.
Hey, but Panzer, you know what? I have all 3 and 4.
I've been tempted by that myself, actually, even though I have no room in my life for another squad level tactical game. I've been tempted by that.
You're talking about Panzer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The thing is that you can play the basic game, which is ridiculously easy, and then you start. I think that you can use. You can go by. It's modular. You can use whatever. But it's really detailed because when you really get into the details, it depends. Like what kind of ordnance are you using? It's hitting at what angle and how far away? I mean, yeah, it's fun. But you know what?
Great stuff.
Well, great stuff. Are you serious?
Oh yeah, no, I am. If you want a detailed game about tactical World War II armor. That's your choice. I mean, what are you going to do? Go play Tobruk instead? Tobruk sucks.
Well, why don't you play ASL?
Because ASL does not have a great armor model. It works much better for infantry. I mean, I know there's armor in it and ordnance and all that. And ASL models absolutely everything from airdrops to caves to dinghies to dudes on horses to taking prisoners to everything. But if you want a comprehensive armor simulation, Panzer is just designed for that, and ASL really wasn't.
No, I think so. The thing is that the older I'm getting, well, it depends what mood I'm in. If I want to play an ultra detailed game, I got Panzer. That's all.
There you go. It's the same game, I envy those people who like just play a couple of different games. I am just not that kind of person. Yes, ASL does have rules for bicycles. That's true.
What are you talking about? Different games? Wait, you play different games?
I play tons of different stuff. That's just the way I am as a gamer.
So what do you mean you envy people?
I envy people who just play 2 or 3 different games and just get really good at those 2 or 3 different games.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay,
and they get to spend way less money. So,
yeah, okay.
Yes, ASL has bicycle rules.
In the rain.
And rules for rain, so you can ride.
Where's that, in Italy? Is that an Italian thing?
No, it's a Dutch thing, if anything.
Ah, you're right. Hey, you ever see The Bicycle Thief, for God's sakes?
No, I have not.
Really?
No, man, I don't get out much. What can I say? I got enough hobbies. I don't get to see that many movies. I did watch the Operation. Shit, what was it called? The one about the man who wasn't there. Operation, the one on Netflix with Colin Firth and some random people.
Yeah,
it was okay, but it was very Hollywood. So I swear I played some Steel Panthers back in the day.
I think I have.
Never really got into the computer game part of it.
That was
so this sounds like it might be, I don't know, is this like a real thing? Because that'd be cool. Serious historical games, right? I'm all about that. Operation Mincemeat, that's it. Thank you. Because it was, in fact, Operation Mincemeat. It's an okay movie. They Hollywooded it up, put a love triangle in it, which was lame. But
yes, The Bicycle Thief is a classic movie with Bruno Staiola, I think. I forget his name. They weren't even actors. They were just like, hey, you want to do a movie? You want to do a movie in war-torn Italy and this and this and that? Awesome movie. Already watched it.
Federico Fellini?
No, it's a Vittorio De Sica.
Okay. So, I mean, there was one of those old Italian directors made a point to hire people who weren't actors.
That Vittorio De Sica.
So I don't know anything about that. But
I'm telling you, it's a wicked movie, man.
I wouldn't go over to Italy to watch the movies. That's all I got to tell you.
I would.
I wouldn't. I would go to eat the food.
And watch the movie.
That's a fabulous company name, I have to say.
What? Serious
Historical Games, yeah.
Sounds like a band.
Yeah, maybe, but I'd be happy to investigate that. Do I have? No, I don't. Never mind. I mean, the Germans had a lot of bicycle troops too, so it is a thing that that they the joke is that they confiscated all the bicycles from the Dutch. So,
Mike, what are you talking about? You talking about The Bicycle Thief? The romance? What romance?
She's probably talking about Operation Mincemeat.
Oh, sorry.
So John Longshaw's watching the Fantastic Beasts films, which I have not seen any of. I've seen all the Harry Potter movies, but I have not read all the books. I read, I think, the first 2 or 3. The books actually took me less time to read than the movies did to watch, at least for the first one.
John, you want to be on proper drugs and it being legal? Quebec is actually thinking...
I mean, he's in Michigan. He's practically in Canada anyway.
No, listen to this. Quebec is actually thinking of legalizing 2.5 to 3 grams of opiates on you, man. I mean, 3 grams of opiates. That's a hell of a weekend.
I don't think that seems unnecessary to me, to be completely honest about it. But
no, they're trying to look. They're trying to. I don't know what they're trying to do, but they're trying.
You might be able to get Steel Panthers on like Good Old Games or something like that. That's possible. I haven't looked, but www.gog.com.
Mario Bava. Well, it's not a masterpiece. It's a schlock movie, but it's a schlock and a masterpiece, like Plan 9 from Outer Space.
I've heard of this. I've never seen Plan 9 from Outer Space, but I have seen Ed Wood, which is brilliant.
Brilliant.
Probably the best Tim Burton thing ever. I think.
No, I like Big Fish a lot.
No, I haven't seen Big Fish, but Big Fish is the one Tim Burton movie that doesn't look, sound, or feel like a Tim Burton movie. So I can believe that that's good.
it tugged on my heartstrings, or the cockles of my heart.
Yeah,
you know what the cockles of your heart are?
No.
It's French for coquille, meaning shells.
Okay.
What
So we
the
have
hell
a
is
news
cockle?
release here out of MMP Publishing, or Multiman Publishing. If you had pre-ordered Victory Awaits or the Devil's Cauldron, you're probably not going to get it, and you probably have to pre-order it again. So go to the website and look at the press release.
Can you put it on the screen?
I can. Hold on.
Yeah, do it.
Come
on. You think I'm
we'll
paying
read
you
the
for
whole
it?
thing here. Hold on.
Barbara Steele. Barbara Steele. I love her. I love her.
When we launched our brand new website in January of 2021, a thing viewers of ARDWULF'S Lair will remember, our plan was to continue to maintain internal access to the old site so that we could process existing pre-orders. Since then, we've processed almost all the old pre-orders that were placed on the old website. Trying to maintain access to the old site has become more and more of a strain on our office staff, and we have decided to completely decommission our own site. This means that we will no longer have access to any pre-order that was placed on the old site. If you previously, and the only two games that are left are Victory Awaits and the Devil's Cauldron. If you previously placed a pre-order for a Victory Awaits or the Devil's Cauldron on the old website, you'll need to place a new pre-order on our current website to ensure you receive the game. Placing the pre-order on our new site will also give you the added benefit of being able to track the progress of your pre-order in your account history. If you do not place a new pre-order for a Victory Awaits or the Devil's Cauldron, then you will not receive the game when it begins shipping. Since we ship orders first in, first out, this will impact your delivery once this game is released. Due to the number of pre-orders, we do not expect this to add more than a couple of days to anyone's pre-order. If you have already placed a pre-order on our new site for these games on the new website, you do not need to do anything. Your current pre-order will be processed. So if you had an old pre-order for those products, you want to put in a new pre-order for those products. Now, Victory Awaits been in the pipeline forever. That's this Japanese import East Front thing. It actually looks interesting. And the Devil's Cauldron is the giant reprint of the first Grand Tactical Series game. This is a great game, and I actually did have a pre-order on the old website for it. But I have since...
Is this a monster?
It is, but it's got tons and tons and tons of small scenarios. Would be a good thing to play at Origins next year, actually, except that my group hates it, so there's that.
Great box art.
The boxes are very nice. I think it's going to get reprinted in a standard 3-inch MMP box. I think it might say that here. $180, but it's loaded. It's loaded with content.
11 counter sheets.
They're 5/8-inch counters. There's a lot of stuff. 4 maps plus 3 map extensions plus 11 and a half sheets of counters. 2 rule books, an additional rule book, the historical booklet, the divisional displays. There's a lot of stuff. I've got a copy. It's a great game. It's a wonderful package, and expensive but worth the price. So, Matrix Games is still in business. Yes.
Yeah. Well, Matrix Games was David Heath of Lock and Load Publishing, and he sold it. And I don't know.
I should talk to David about that. There's some history in there that I'd be curious to hear David's view on, actually.
Yeah, but I don't know. Maybe it's like personal laundry shit.
Oh, maybe. I don't think so in this case. That's not what I'm asking. Yeah, the maps in that whole series are fantastic. I believe Slytherin and Matrix are different companies that happen to share some kind of logistical chain or something. So John Longshore, they've been shipping you 2 of everything. It'd fit right in down here in Columbus, Ohio. What can I say? So Findle70 says Slytherin owns Matrix. Okay.
Slytherin? I thought they were a small company, man. They can't buy Matrix. Matrix is huge.
Nah, Matrix is not very huge by computer game development standards. They're super tiny. I don't know whose money is behind Slytherin either. So
I don't know, but
they have some good products. Both publishers have some good products. So
I think David did well selling it.
Okay, good. I don't know anything about that. Yeah. I didn't even know until relatively recent, like last couple of years, that David was the guy. Right?
He was the guy.
Mm-hmm. So here's the interesting thing. Fiddle70 might remember this. There used to be a store in Sheffield Lake, Ohio, called Matrix Games that predated Matrix Games, the computer game company, by quite a bit. And I think they had to have some kind of arrangement made. And there was never a lawsuit or anything like that. But I think they had to make some kind of arrangement to live and let live. And I'd be curious to hear what I've heard the other side of it, because I used to go to the game store. But I'd be curious to hear David's side of what that
I think David is that type of guy. Live and let live.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But
nice guy. He's a super nice guy.
Absolutely. I've met David. David's a great guy.
Super nice guy.
Angry Day says Starship Troopers will be released by Slytherin. I have no interest in that whatsoever. I mean, maybe it'll be more
colorful,
more true to the book than the movie, like I said. But we'll see. But not something I am terribly interested in.
It's not that they're remaking the old Avalon Hill game.
I'm sure that's not what it is. I'm sure that property was, well, that's a good question. Because it was a licensed property, it's hard to say. But it's I don't think anybody wants to particularly piss off Hasbro's legal department.
You know, Hasbro, just give it up, will you?
Yeah, they're a big company.
Money. What's 50 grand gonna do to them?
50? Well, I don't know, but I mean, a lot of their old like war game type properties are probably not worth 50 grand. They might be worth 5 grand, right?
It's not even. I don't think it's even worth it for them to look into it.
It's not actually.
Yeah.
So somebody, I forget who this was, somebody actually contacted their legal department to ask about the rights to some old Avalon Hill game, and they to say, hey, we think you guys have the rights, is that accurate? And they said, we have no idea. So,
there you go. And we're not going to look into it.
We're not going to look into it because some rando called them on the phone. I don't know, but they have no idea. They'd have to trace chain of custody back to 1998, whatever it was, 1998.
And it takes resources and money and whatever.
Yeah. And they're lawyers. They got golf to play. I've heard good things about Old World, by the way. So, it's probably very good. But I spent all the money already, so we're not spending any more money anytime soon. So, not on games. I can tell you that.
Hey, so hold on. This is Civ Games. Who's the guy?
Sid Meier?
Yeah. Okay. Is it really a wicked system?
Or Francis Tresham? I mean, is what I would say. But they're good. I mean, I played the pants off of Civ 2 back in the day. This is Sid Meier's Civilization 2, right? That property's gone through a bunch of different hands, and not all of them are equally good. The current one is Civ 6. Which I've played, I don't know, 2 hours of, something like that, and it's okay. Don't think I'm really into it because it's not like a history game, right? It's just like, we're going to have this abstract strategy game, and we'll call this particular abstract meeple Caesar, right?
What about, isn't Vlada Shvatil designer of one of the Civ games?
Not the games I'm talking about. That, I don't know, actually, maybe. I don't know. I'd have to look into that. Because I don't think Sid Meier has personally designed any of those games in a while. So
isn't he?
I've heard great things about Sid Meier's Gettysburg, I'll tell you that. So Agri Day says he's Canadian. Imagine that. I think I have 4, 5, and 6 all on Steam. And I've put in a total of less than 10 hours.
Listen, Cylon Dion is Canadian.
4 is the one with the big selling point because it has narration by Leonard Nimoy. So
what?
Vishka says Ed, and she's right. Ed Beach designed Civ 6. So same guy who designs war games, like Here I Stand, for example. Those are turn-based games, though. So you don't have to really have Twitch receptors to play those. It's the Civ games proper. There are certainly equivalent games that are twitchy, but the Civ games are not. They're all turn-based.
Okay, Carl's got an opinion. He says
he likes Civ 5 better than Civ 6.
So
Maybe
what,
I'll
Carl?
try Civ 5 next. I don't know.
So what, Carl? I like Civ 1. And I like
Uh,
pre-Civ.
I'm
All right?
pretty sure I played Civ 1 actually. And the one I remember playing a lot of back in the day was Civ 2. So I'm not sure I have a clear recollection of doing that with Civ 1.
Through the Ages, Vlada Shvatil. Yeah.
There you go. That's supposed to be good, by the way.
It's supposed to be really good. Listen, this guy is a pretty good designer, man. Very, very intelligent.
Okay.
I know. I played a game by a man who was coached by Shvatil, Ignacy Chevicek, who did Robinson Crusoe.
Okay.
And let me tell you, Robinson Crusoe, you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die. Great game. You're gonna die, you're gonna die. Great game.
It's like Oregon Trail, is what you're saying.
It's like D-Day at Omaha Beach.
Okay. New game in that series is coming out too. Decision was showing off a proof copy of D-Day at Saipan.
Buonasera. Buonasera. Outdoor Survival. Artie, did you send me that game? Did you send me that game?
No, I don't think so. Did I? Maybe.
Is that a good game?
No.
Oh.
You know what, though? It's an interesting game. It's a unique game, right? There's really not another game like it. The closest thing would probably be like Source of the Nile, which is a much better game, frankly. But the reason why it was like their top seller for years, and the reason is because the original Dungeons and Dragons books said if you want to go like adventure outside and not like in the dungeon, you go buy a copy of Avalon Hill's Outdoor Survival and use those rules. That's literally what it said, almost verbatim in the book, because the original D&D was like a half-designed game, is the reason why. And yes, it's exactly right. And you can still use a lot of those rules for hex crawls, frankly. And as like an adjunct to like doing something like that, it actually probably worked fine. At some point, I probably need to check that out. Actually, the video game of Through the Ages. It's cheaper than the board game version. That's for sure.
Lockiter. What Mage Knight. It's really a good game.
Oh, are we saying that Vlada Shvatil is the designer of Mage Knight? Okay, I didn't know that.
Is. No, he is. And the thing is, look, I've played what's that bloody game? Pathfinder's card game. Pathfinder card game.
Okay.
Is there any relevance? What am I saying?
I don't know.
Is there any connection to Mage Knight and with Pathfinder?
Not that I'm aware of. It's definitely not designed by that guy. I forget who the designer of the Pathfinder card game was, but it wasn't Vlada Shvatil.
Mike Selinker.
Sure. Mike Selinker. Yeah, that's true. It's a good game, that Pathfinder card. I haven't played the new edition. It's presumably still good. Frankly, I would have bought it at Origins if anybody was selling it, but nobody was. So same deal with the Vampire the Masquerade card game. The Vampire the Eternal Struggle is back in a new edition, but damned if I can get it.
This is a card game?
It was like this, I think the second card game released by Wizards of the Coast after Magic. And it was way more complicated and fussy and way more multiplayer. And I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. And it went away after a while. Let me put it that way. So, but there's like continues to be a big tournament at Origins every year. So you just can't buy the damn thing.
Define Hex Crawl, Artie.
So what that means is that it's like an RPG campaign style in which the sort of primary mode of the campaign is you are traveling across some kind of wilderness map, exploring as you go. And you'll eventually, you might, depend on what exactly you're running and how you're handling it, but you might have like a lot of random encounters. You might encounter like specifically placed dungeons or mini dungeons or special encounters or just weird shit out in the woods. A great example of this kind of product is the old Wilderlands of high fantasy from Judges Guild. That was probably, I think, the first commercial project that's basically a hex crawl. But Griffin Mountain for RuneQuest was also a hex crawl, and it came out, I think, 81. So that sounds right. 81, 82. Old Pathfinder stuff is unfortunately a bit of a flooded market. Because everybody dumped their. That means they came out with a Pathfinder 2nd edition, and everybody dumped their Pathfinder 1st edition.
I got the 1st edition.
Who cares? If you like playing it, what difference does it
with the miniatures? I got miniatures.
You got with the card game?
Yeah, I bought the four main
okay.
characters.
I wish I'd have bought the miniatures actually. It would much better than using the cards. Actually, I think I was using the stand-ups that came in one of the pawns boxes since I've got some.
Yeah,
of the
okay,
boxes.
yeah.
This is true, but possibly too topical. Yes, there are. There's like a lot of. There are obviously Western games, which are historical games. There are a number of swashbuckler or pirate games like that. The whole pile of those actually existed. A couple of which were from Fantasy Games Unlimited. There was at least one ancient Rome game that I could think of. There's a couple of there's at least 3 different medieval Japan games: Land of the Rising Sun, Sengoku, and what was the one from FGU? Bushido. All of which were pretty well regarded, actually. Sengoku is really good. I like Sengoku. On Guard is kind of a historical sort of pseudo RPG, I would say. So there's quite a few. I've never played Netrunner.
Yeah, I played Netrunner. And look, okay, it's confusing for me because but it's supposedly it's
I suspect it's good, actually. GDW's Ars Magica is so On Guard. Here's the question: is On Guard a role-playing game? Right? I think that's less clear when you go back to the original edition. There's actually a newer edition that was published much later, like in the last, 10, 15 years or so. And that's the only one I've even seen. Because the original was like, 75 or 76? It was really old. So I think that's a little less clear. And I think it kind of falls into that hybrid wargame RPG space. Now, Ars Magica is, I wouldn't call it a historical game. I actually have a folder called pseudo-historical games. And Ars Magica is in that folder because it is historical fantasy or alternate history, as it were. There's a Roman alternate history game called Fulminata, which is an alternate history in which the Romans discover gunpowder, and therefore the Roman Empire does not fall. And it's 300 or 400. It's like 500 AD, and the Roman Empire is still around. It's a great game, actually. It's really neat. You got these cool things where you like have divine aspects, like I am an aspect of Ares, and it does different things for you. It's actually quite neat. So
yeah, Netrunner asymmetrical. I couldn't understand it. Man.
I actually think we had trouble grasping Netrunner, the original Netrunner from Wizards of the Coast, when it came out. I believe the current net game called Netrunner is essentially a different game, though. I believe that to be the case. Behind Enemy Lines is World War II RPG. There's a game called Recon, which folks will remember, that is a Vietnam game, as I recall. There are other examples, right? There's a couple of cavemen games. There's a couple of ancient Mesopotamia, at least one ancient, I think 2 ancient Mesopotamia games, which is actually kind of neat.
What is Behind Enemy Lines?
It's a World War II RPG that FASA did back in the early 80s.
Oh, FASA, okay.
Mm-hmm. So, and Pendragon goes in that category as well, because it's pseudo-historical. I mean, I am inclined to say Pendragon is actually straight fantasy, if you're familiar with it, because it is kind of this game. I'm talking about Pendragon the RPG.
Okay.
Designed by Greg Stafford, released in the 80s sometime. It's a synthesis of all the different Arthurian myths from all these different sources, the original Welsh stuff and the much later French stuff and all this other stuff, and even some modern ideas about King Arthur. It kind of synthesizes all that so that you get everything. You get like this sort of Misty Isle pagan stuff from the Welsh stuff in the early period to the Excalibur guys with the over engineered armor near the end. So I call Pendragon a straight fantasy. Godlike is a World War II. So if you're talking like historical games that have like supernatural or super science or shit like that going on, there's a ton of those. There's the Deadlands, the whole Deadlands thing, for example, which is its own whole franchise. And there's a whole bunch of other ones. That Osprey Games Bronze Age thing actually looks kind of interesting to me. Godlike, which uses the one roll engine, which is an interesting game mechanic. You roll the dice once, and then you read them in different ways, which is a war game idea, I will add. ASL does that. You read them in different ways to get different parts of your result. It's actually fairly neat. I had Godlike at one point, and I dumped it because it was the single worst bound hardback of any kind, RPG, game book, whatever, that I have ever personally handled. The binding was absolute trash. Legion of Honor from Clash of Arms is another game that I would say kind of fits in the intersection there.
Is that a good game, man?
It's supposed to be. I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
I always wanted to get it. Is it worth $100?
Isn't it still available from Clash of Arms?
Yeah. It's gonna cost me $100.
How about Noble Knight? Does Noble Knight have it?
I don't know.
Well, check Noble Knight.
Jesus Christ.
Why are you asking me what Noble Knight inventory looks like? They got a website. You can go look.
Yeah,
I bet they do. They got all kind of crazy stuff. So this I have this queued up. I forget what this is exactly. I saw this and I want to listen to that too. So I mean I'd be wouldn't be surprised at all. I believe Legion of Honor is still available from Clash of Arms, and I guarantee that Noble Knight will give you a better shipping rate than
absolutely
than Clash of Arms will.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think they do that so they can refer their customers to the retailers. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but they're also using a service to do their shipping, so they're not paying the full shipping rate. I mean, I do that. So Noble Knight certainly does. So they're not necessarily paying the going shipping rate. They're getting a discount, and that discount might be substantial, and they're passing that savings on to you. And if you buy X dollars worth of stuff, your shipping's free, at least in the US. I don't know if that's
unbelievable.
So Carl says that Legion of Honor is better with 4 or 5 people, which I find highly believable.
What's the matter with you? Can't you play by yourself? What are you, don't love yourself? God help us, Carl.
Did you see this? $68 for Legion of Honor at Noble Knight.
Look at that.
So, excellent price.
Yeah.
So, somebody buy it for him so he'll shut up. There you go. This is something, too. You could look at BGG and see if there's anybody in Canada selling it. That's actually a good thought.
Well, I just bought 2 new speakers.
Well, good. That's great. Are they good?
Well, you said you heard the echo, this and this.
Yeah,
and that,
but I expect that. That's your microphone, not your speakers.
Yeah, but now I gotta buy a new mic now.
No, just use headphones while you're doing this. And if you're listening to music, use the new speakers.
Maybe.
So, yeah. So I used to know the guy who was like the games. I don't know if they have such a thing anymore. Who was the Games Workshop U.S. agent for their historical miniatures, which you could not, if you wanted Warhammer miniatures, you had to go through a game store and distribution and all that jazz, or buy them directly from Games Workshop. But you could actually, if you knew the guy who knew the guy, you could get their historical miniatures, and they were just as nice as the fantasy ones. So I've got a drawer of them here. Something not, it's a tiny drawer, but I've got a whole bunch of them somewhere. This is absolutely true of the Iliad as well.
Look at that!
Absolutely, gods are all over the place. And this is why the movie Troy didn't follow the Iliad, because then it would have been a fantasy movie.
Troy, I enjoy Troy, man, especially when he has to wake up what's his face, Achilles, from sleeping with two girls, and I didn't know whose ass was whose when the opening shot. And I said, "Wow, that's a great ass," and it happened to be Brad Pitt's ass.
Well, he was
So
very
I looked,
fit back
whatever.
then.
Yeah, whatever. And he fought that guy, and he did that jumping thing and sliced him here. I thought that was a pretty cool move.
Boagrius.
I thought that was a cool move.
It was a cool move. It was a cool move. I like that movie a lot, actually. I think Brad Pitt is... I think his dialogue does not really come off that well, but he brings a great physicality to the role, and that's a huge part of that particular role. And I thought that totally worked. And it's got one of the best like ancient world duels that I've ever seen in it between Achilles and Hector. That's really well done.
You mean at the gates there? No, that was really cool. You know, I actually saw Keanu Reeves in Much Ado About Nothing by Shakespeare.
That's a great movie. Actually,
but seriously, Keanu Reeves,
he's the bad guy in it too.
Yeah, but he is Keanu Reeves reading Shakespeare.
Yeah,
it didn't work.
Well, you know, Keanu tries really hard. What can I say? Everybody loves him.
I like Keanu. I like him.
Everybody loves him. Everybody he's ever worked with says he's the greatest guy they've ever met.
He's Canadian.
Well, I don't. He's Hawaiian, I thought.
No, he's Canadian. He's from Ontario.
Are you sure about that?
No.
Is this a Shakespeare is better when you've read him in the original Klingon thing? Was invented by little old lady from Leningrad.
Okay, Artie.
So all right, we're done.
It's over.
It's over. We're done. Everybody next week at my place. Be sure to watch Dan's show on Saturday.
Okay, bye-bye. I gotta do the goodbye thing.
He's got to push the button.
Okay, hold on a second. Where is it?
He's lost the button.
For God's sake.
The button not appearing in this picture.
See ya.